homies, welcome to my very first sketchbook tour. So first of all, this sketchbook is one of the basic Artist Loft sketchbooks. It's a pink one. I can add an image on the screen to show you what it looks like, but they don't sell this exact version anymore. They sell it without a spine, which I totally understand because my spine fell off. I'm not entirely sure if it's just because I stuck so much stuff in it, but I also heard just regular sketchbook users complaining that the spine fell off, so now they make it so it completely lies flat. It was in the pink color, but I painted it and stuff as it fell apart midway through the year, and I made this crochet cover. But this was a cheap sketchbook. It was $10, and the paper is very thin, and I definitely wouldn't recommend it to really anyone else unless you're just gonna do dry medium in it. But this was the first ever sketchbook I've done, so I didn't want to spend too much money if I wasn't gonna finish it. I did want to say my goal for this sketchbook was to finish it during my last year of IB, so during the entire academic school year, and I did finish it. So without further ado, let's get started. I skipped the first page because it wasn't a real page. And then I started with a welcome page where I just drew things I was comfortable with and set goals for my sketchbook, because I was kind of nervous that if I didn't set goals and start with something simple, that I was going to lose motivation and freak out and try to rip out my first pages. So I tried to do something simple. And here is my start date, which sadly I haven't written in my last day of school yet, but that was the day that I finished my sketchbook, so I'll write it in later. And I started on the 11th of August, which was a couple days before my birthday, because I ended up getting this for my birthday. And this here is one of those little fortune tellers that I created in case I got art block, and I actually never ended up using it, but it just had simple prompts and stuff that I could draw in case I got art block. These first few pages were me just trying to stay in my comfort zone. I drew my characters, Nibbler, who arguably is an OC, kind of isn't. He's based off of my real rabbit Nibbler, who is an 8-year-old Netherland dwarf. And then I drew another bunny, and I drew my OC Juno, who is a skateboarding duck. And I just drew my very comfort zone stuff and added some stickers and a little bit of color. And then this page I tried to be a little bit more experimental. I went with a fall theme, and I tried to draw people, because at this point I was really uncomfortable drawing people, and honestly I still kind of am, but I think I figured out a better way to do it in my style moving forward. This next page is also some OCs. I draw little aliens and alien dogs because I have an idea for a comic I want to make where Nibbler gets abducted by aliens. And then this one I did in pen because I was just curious how I would handle dealing with that, because you can't erase pen, and I wanted to make sure that I wasn't trying to be too perfectionist with everything, and I was drawing Super Nibbler and more of my OCs and just honestly my basic drawing starter pack. You can see both of the girls so far have mittens, so I'm really trying to avoid drawing hands. This page I have a piece of cardstock glued in, so this is a little tree that I drew with Copic markers, and I rendered it out with pencils. And I used a sticky note here because my friend was telling me that I need to experiment more with sticky notes because it can help deal with art block, and I added some little gemstones and some color, just drawing some food. This page was more so to break the idea that every page is going to be good at all, so I just did little doodle stick people. This one was more experimental because I was watching those videos about Cringetober, and they were doing object head OCs, and so I created mine, who I didn't really think about a backstory, but he's just a little business dude with an eyeball for a head, and I explored the ideas of 5G waves and drone birds and government surveillance, and I thought that was kind of fun. This page I did Under the Sea. I drew my OC Melinda the Mermaid, who I want to do a children's book about, and a little crab and little sea creatures and cute little stuff. I glued this in. And then on this page I did little fan art because I have a friend who does a lot of fan art, and I thought it would be kind of fun to try it. All kinds of little characters, and honestly I wish I had done more fan art in here, but I did do more. Here was a diner scene. Honestly, starting off, I did a lot of themed pages to help like avoid artist block. So I drew a little food and stuff, and honestly I think this was the first page that I was like proud of, because I drew a character. She's a little stiff, but I'm bad at posing, and like this is the time I should say that I'm not like very comfortable drawing people. I usually just draw animals, but I drew this little menu, and that sparked me to make a real mini menu where you can like order all kinds of stuff, and people really liked this when they were going through it, the interactive pieces. And even though it's just graphite, I think it still looks really cute, and like I came up with this whole diner idea and a character to suit it. And then on this page, this was to celebrate my birthday, because I had my 17th birthday at Chuck E. Cheese, because I'd never been. And then this one, it's supposed to make it so it's like me talking. And then here I drew a random girl, because honestly at this point I was too uncomfortable to try and draw other people other than myself, and even honestly this one doesn't really look like me at all. And then I put my little Chuck E. Cheese stickers and cute stuff to try and spice it up a little. This spread I was also very proud of at the time, because of the colors, because here I experimented more with the sticky notes to add accent colors and mixed like different types of pens and old illustrations. And more experiments, because I used to draw people a little bit back a couple years ago before my art block like hit me like a ton of bricks, and I hadn't drawn for like 2 years, and I used to draw characters with eyes like this instead of matching how I drew my animals. And so I tried to go back and try that, more burgers and stuff, like there's random doodles. And then this page is Halloween themed, and I do really like the colors of this one because it's a mix of mild liners and sticky notes, and just this blue and this green I really liked. And then I really liked drawing like little kids that are smiling with like missing teeth. For whatever reason, I feel like it just makes characters look happier when they just are just smiling even though they don't have teeth. And my little alien bears. And then I followed up with a Christmas spread where I did a fake Christmas card, and I remember I did a little Hallmark logo on the back. And then I glued in a piece of pink paper so it would be a little bit more fun, and did some Christmas stuff. And then I did like an Easter page, which is definitely more in my comfort zone because I tend to draw a lot of spring things. Drew some OCs and cute stuff. And then I drew some food items because my mom saw another page and she was like, I really like the way you draw food, and so I decided to draw some more, some cheeseburgers, some pizza, and then I've got a little Pusheen sticker. And then here is a full Nibbler page, which is only 21 pages in, but I remember thinking, oh, I've been doing so many pages, I might as well do one all about Nibbler and really get it out of my system. So I drew some like super Nibbler ideas, and I drew him in different costumes. I did like this one where I had this little Pusheen sticker, and it says, you must be this tall to ride, and Nibbler's like on a block and he's still way too short to get on the roller coaster. But it was fun to experiment, and I really like blue. Here was for a school project where we were supposed to create our own government, like country, and I decided to do something that mixed like nature and like technology. And then this page was really colorful just because I really wanted to experiment as much as I could with texture. So I have this crocheted flower, which are the same as the ones on the front cover. I have this little notebook that doesn't really have anything in it, but I just liked the like interactiveness of it. And then also here I have a spot in the tree where there's like little owl eyes, and I've got like lined paper, highlighters, colored paper. Like I have this tag that really inspired me for my Hello Kitty Crocs, and I went all out. There's like gemstones and everything, and I remember thinking I really like these fruits, and so I ended up drawing more later. This spread was right after I watched Spider-Verse for the first time, and I cannot believe it took me so long to do it, and I really wanted to like emulate sort of that like street art style. So like I found inspiration, and I like wrote Nibbler and did like little graffiti art, like inspired stuff. A lot of it's from Pinterest, and other things are just from my imagination. And then I drew some more. These ones I think are all, except for this one, I think this one I didn't. But I also made references to like local skate shops and like tried to recreate the skate park I went to when I was younger. And then here's the fruit that I did more of, and it's still more like street art inspired because I did this one and I wanted to do it again, and I think this one looked better because I just wasn't trying. And I used like blue pen and highlighters and stuff to replicate fruit. This one's circus themed, still another bunny, more characters, trying to stay on the themes. And then I have this wizardy page, which I don't know if you can tell, but there's like glitter pen like on different spots. I think you can see it there, but like I highlighted certain spots with this like glittery like pen that was similar in color to graphite to make it more whimsical. And there's just like cute little elements. These are more Halloween bears. Some of these designs got finalized, but I always draw them for my mom. And so I've got like skeleton bears, an evil doctor, a Slenderman, a werewolf, and a spider. This one had to go through a bunch of revisions, but I stayed with like a big spread of ideas. I drew a little car for like a field trip. Not really sure why, and I didn't end up doing anything else with it because I was like, it's done, I don't care. And I drew more Halloween bears here with the same red. Tried drawing Mario more in my style. I think they're kind of cute. Some of them are a little weird, but I think they're overall pretty cute. And then these ones I did at my grandparents' house where I was just drawing art supplies, and I just used a blue ballpoint pen on this purple paper and like used a purple highlighter on top of it, and I still like the way the colors look together. And like you can see I drew a mild liner, and like some of the things I drew from real life and they're more detailed and like a little micron. And then other things like I just drew from imagination. This page is supposed to be like retro tech. I got a little 3DS here, Flappy Bird, little microphone, a Wii, just cute little tech. And then that inspired me to draw myself when I was younger. And like doodle a bunch around them. And I remember thinking, oh my goodness, I shouldn't have started drawing so tiny, because then I had to keep up the same like size all throughout. But I think it turned out cute. I bought some acrylic paints. They were Winsor & Newton, and I actually didn't end up using them very much, but I swatched them here and drew around them because I kind of wanted to like paint more like with pastel colors to add accents instead of just highlighters. But I ended up forgetting about them, I guess. This was a sleepover themed page that I did with highlighters. This page was inspired by the idea that I wanted to draw a character with blueberries for hair. And so I drew these little characters, and I remember really liking this page when I did it, and I loved the colors together. But now I can really tell like I did a big shift in my art style like midway through, so I don't like it too much now, but I would love to redraw this character and her little outfits and stuff. This was me experimenting more with people. I tried doing different proportions and copying the sort of stubbiness of my animals into my people to make them look kind of like dress-up dolls and do like bathing suits. I also drew this strawberry themed character since I liked the blueberry one so much, and a little strawberry smoothie, and she's kind of cute and I like the patchwork of her jeans. So I ended up drawing more of the characters, kind of like my own strawberry shortcake like cast. Here's a little to-do list because IB year 2 had me going crazy. And this little pipe cleaner thing that my friends handed to me, and they were like, stick it in your sketchbook, so I did. So I got more characters like lemons and apples and cherries, all kinds of little characters. A camping themed page, more Nibbler. This was because the idea is I want to do like a superhero comic about Nibbler, and I'm gonna call it Super Nibbler. And I came up with a plot idea for a issue where like the neighborhood is having like an annual giant like fruit and vegetable competition, and there's a bunch of like little bugs that came and tried to like take it all. And I haven't thought through the plot too much, but I thought it was kind of cute and making it all red and yellow. I mean green. It's not yellow, it's green. This was a blue spread because I really like blue. I don't really like most of these, but it's okay. I've got a couple gumballs, a little Bonnie. Don't question that one. But I just liked blue characters, and then I did this spread, and then this is like a sticker sheet, and like this was a pass that I was given for a school event, and little sticky notes and highlighters. So I really like the blue. This one was inspired by a Hot Wheel bus that I got, and like the door opens, and so it's just like kind of cars themed. This one was just graphite that I didn't really finish, but I just didn't feel like finishing, so I just moved on. She's kind of cute, but it's like athleisure based because I bought athletic wear because I was trying out for basketball for Cass. Here's a little character I designed because my friend gave me these little Crayola band-aids, and I kind of wanted to do like themes, so I just came up with ideas. I got some highlighters out, and then I made this Lunchables thing out of a piece of mail, and then this little Ritz cracker comes out, and I think it's cute. It's not super accurate, but I like it. And then here's a rainbow themed page that's got lyrics from that song Rainbow Connections by Kermit the Frog, and I've got like a little Nan Nibbler, which I actually made an animation for, so I'll stick it up here, but I animated this like the last day of school, so it took forever for me to get to that point. And I just got little rainbow stuff, trying to draw Guy's hair, more ideas for like Nibbler stories. I kind of want to make a tower defense game where Nibbler is like a king or something, and so I just came up with some ideas. Here's a page I did because I worked at McDonald's over the summer, and it was during Grimace Shake season, and so I got my highlighters out because I forgot my sketchbook, and so I just doodled on this piece of paper and glued it in on top of something and kind of did a collage of stickers and stuff. And I really like the color palette of this one. Like, I think it looks pretty. And here's a little thing for purchasing something off of Depop. They gave me this cute little sticky note, so I just had to put it there. Here's a little koi fish I did with highlighters and a flower and a lily pad, and then a little quote one of my friends signed there, and I just did not have the heart to erase it. Ideas for a business, because I always wanted to have a business when I was really young, making like little mini comics and zines and children's books and stickers and stuff, and so I just came up with product ideas around that business. Here's a little comic strip that I made one day. I didn't actually draw somebody in particular, I just drew a random person because I felt like it was kind of weird to draw one of my classmates. This one is the layout of my bedroom, and honestly basically nothing has changed, but I just thought it'd be fun to draw little things around my room and the layout. And then this one was experimenting with no color and just doing pen. And I wanted to do something kind of spooky because my friends were joking that I can't draw spooky stuff, which is unironically true. But I did draw this guy, who might be a little new OC. I don't know what his name is. I got little lemon demons and spooky stuff. And I kind of like it because I messed around with like line width and stuff, so it was kind of fun. This page was a fruit sticker page that I did, where it says me on the inside saying I'm a hoarder and I'm proud, and it's just little fruit stickers. And then this one I got in San Antonio, and it did not fit and I was not about to rearrange everything, but I've got all these little fruit stickers that I collected throughout the time that I was working on my sketchbook. And then this one was inspired by something my friend did in her sketchbook, where she did little highlighter squares and drew over it, and I used black pen, and it was kind of fun because some of them are within the squares, some of them just break outside the realm, and they're just like cute little doodles. This is like a peanut butter princess idea because I did a piece, maybe I'll insert it here, back in like 2019 with Copics, and also I really like the game Candyland, and they've got like a peanut princess character on that game. And then this one was the first thing I did with watercolors. I did this little pixel art thing of an axolotl for Minecraft, and it's kind of just, it's vaguely Minecraft themed because I have like the glow berries and like my Switch controller and stuff, but then it also like goes off the rails. I actually really don't like this page, and I think it's funny because I remember when I did it, a lot of people did like it. I just feel like it's kind of messy and like all over the place. Like, I do like the top part, I really don't like these two, and I feel like there's so much going on that it's kind of hard to look at. This was a Pass for Texas turnout, and I really like the colors, and this again was inspired by another illustration I did in like 2019 of like an Easter girl, and so I drew her again, but like updated, and she's also got like stubby feet. You can really see me experimenting with how to draw people because I've always been so uncomfortable drawing people. So she's got like little mitten hands and stuff. And then more Halloween bears, getting more ideas and sketching them out. It was actually really nice to have a place to sketch out ideas before doing final pieces beforehand, because I'd never done a sketchbook before. I would just sketch on random paper or just go straight into the final project. So it was kind of nice to have no space to really get all my ideas out. This was an experimental page for a character that I guess I named Cleo. I did like fonts and stuff. She looks a little weird. I was trying to experiment with doing different poses, and I kind of wanted her to be cool. I do like the color palette, but I think these don't stand out enough to tell what her name is. And then I had my heart set on doing a pink and yellow spread. A lot of these characters are from memory, so they look a little funny, but I think it's kind of cute. This one was just random highlighter things that I did, and I wanted to turn them into trees. And then I have this little like dude, he's like a dark bunny spirit thing I created just for this page, and I kind of want to draw him again because I like the way that like his little tail and how he just looks. It's just kind of cute, so I might turn him into a character to use for a comic or something. And then here were my first still lives of the sketchbook. I think honestly this page is a pretty good indicator of how much I got like better at art throughout this, because I did use a reference for this one and I didn't use a reference for these ones, but my like drawing from life skills got so much better even in like such a short period of time. Here's some more fan art, here's some bendy stuff, and I just stained this page with some tea. And then these were just some sketches I did. And then here's some digital circus fan art that I did like right as that one came out. Here's a little poem I did, and these were like Doki Doki characters, and you can really see the art style change. And I really did not like this page, but I think the little cat cupcake is kind of cute, so trying to stay positive. And then here was me using the acrylic paint again. You can see I just did a little cursive and a bookmark design because I thought about making a bookmark to mark my spot in the pages, but honestly it wasn't that difficult to tell because like for the first half like I used so much texture that you could always tell where the next page was, and then by the end of it I used a binder clip to pin back this set of pages so I could actually draw on it. So these are my first watercolor stuff, and they're just like me trying to mix it in my style, and I really did like the Prismacolors with it, but this page was fun. It was a fun interactive page to do. I cannot believe I skipped it because it was on the back of something else that was thick. But I have this little baggie full of accessories that you're supposed to like place on the hangers, and it was like a demo for a like dress up game that I want to code. And so you just like give Nibbler different outfits. I'm pretty sure I have a post up on my Instagram that shows it more in detail because I'm not gonna sit and do every like outfit combination, especially considering how long this video is already gonna be because I have 200 pages to get through. This was my first ever full piece with watercolor, and it's kind of like streaky. And I struggled to mix my colors right, but this is Melinda in her full glory. I meant for her to be a little bit more tan, and this was just a redraw of something I did with Copics, but I think it's kind of cute, and I used that as a reference for a digital piece I did for stickers recently, so it's not the end of the world. I should probably draw her in a different environment and think of her story more, but it's still cute. And then I drew this other mermaid, and she's got like this little bag that you roll out, and she's got little accessories because I wanted to add more interactive bits to it, and she was just done on lined paper, and so was this, so I just glued some lined paper in. I glued in some sticky notes for color. Here's my attempt at trying to create like a rock star sort of character. I don't endorse smoking, by the way. I just think they're kind of fun to draw, I guess, because like the crinkle of them. But I drew a guitar and I drew her because I wanted to draw a character in a different pose. And I think she's kind of cute. And then I went to the gas station with my mom one day, and so I drew some gas station related stuff, a little thing, soda, some Doritos. This one was from my first time going to UIL, and so I put in my scores. We got McDonald's, so I stuck the bag in here. Here's some more score stuff. And then I doodled on the back of a page, so I glued those in here. And then this one was done with Prismacolors. I did little pumpkins, and I think they're really cute. They look really ugly while you're making them, but I think by the time you're finished, you can really see the texture and the really bright colors. Here I did some shapes just to practice fundamentals, and here's some more fundamentals. And then, like, warning for slight nudity. I did this, which was composition stuff, and then this is my first ever anatomy study. I watched this TikTok that talked about like drawing female bodies, and so I decided to do that for breast cancer awareness because we had a day for it at school, and so I bought like accessories for it, and I thought it'd be kind of fitting and everything. They're not the best, but I think for my first ever time trying to study anatomy, they're pretty okay. Here I have Tinkerbell. I did with graphite, and then I colored her with Prismacolors, and it's a little muddy, but I think it's kind of cute, and you can still see my struggle with drawing hands and how I'm gonna do it, so I just did structures of hands, and they all look different, like those are mittens and fingers. And then here are some Furbies. I had this one growing up as a kid, but then I looked up some Pinterest references for them and looked up different phrases in Furbish or whatever their language is. I think they're kind of cute, and then I made a Furby Sona on the back of a piece of paper, and I didn't realize I was never getting it back, so maybe I'll have to draw my Furby Sona again. Here's another OC that was supposed to be like, maybe like the sibling or like the friend of the boy that I did with the Lunchables. And I have like her little My Little Pony OC, and I labeled it a diary, and then I proceeded to make it like a notebook about the stuff that I was doing in class, and then doodles and stuff. But I think it's kind of cute to add little notebooks, and I wanted her to be kind of like those frosted animal crackers. These are Prismacolors. I just did cute little bugs. Here's some ice cream stuff, and an ice cream like Neapolitan princess, and a little nibbler with an ice cream scoop on his butt. Some little like YouTube horror like characters, so it's like Don't Hug Me, I'm Scared for this page, and then I was really inspired, so I went on to the next page and I drew like those like MLP like spooky videos, and salad fingers and Petscop and llamas with hats, and I think I really like this page. I did it at my grandparents' house and I had no clue I was drawing, but I think the bright colors and highlighter like really matches that like inviting look but like scary undertones that a lot of these like animated cartoons had. So for the page on the left, I did like a Christmas wish list, and then on the other page I did like a reflection about Christmas, and sadly this was a pretty tough Christmas for me. But I did like journal about it, and I drew at the bottom, I helped my grandparents out and I dressed up for a Christmas parade, and so I was just trying to stay positive. This one was white Prismacolors on black paper. Here's my reasoning for it, but I drew Nibbler. This one was first, and this one is second. I think this one looks more like him. Maybe I should put up a photo of him. But I think it was kind of fun to mess around with values and stuff. My friend did give me markers for Christmas, and they were these like little cheap alcohol markers, and so I tried them out on here on a piece of cardstock so it wouldn't bleed. So I drew little trash and stuff in a little trash bag and rendered them out with Prismacolors. Here is a little doodle reference sheet I did, and then this character that was inspired by the Annie's Mac and Cheese boxes, and it had a cute little like flipping toy thing. I think you're supposed to put like a bottle cap on the inside of it or something. I thought about putting something inside it myself, but I forgot. And she's just like a hippie character. Here were some doodles my friend made me, and I kind of decided to turn it into a like art style study and aspects of her art that I wanted to add to mine. And honestly, to sum up all of this like creepy looking text, I really liked the way that she conveyed expressions and like fluidity in her style, and how she added like contrast between like light and dark spaces. Even though these are just doodles and she just gave them to me for fun, I decided to be weird. This page was with random bits of trash that kids were giving to me to put in my sketchbook because they heard about it, because at this point I was getting decently far into it. And then this, and it's just, this was getting into my watercolor phase and everything. My first time going to Mexico, I went with my grandparents, and so like all the text on here is in Spanish because I've been studying Spanish for a couple of years. But I ended up getting candies, and I drew like one of the areas, and this was a nice time to find out that you should, instead of powering through perspective, learn how to do it, which unironically I never did. I kept telling myself, oh, I'm gonna study perspective for one of these pages, and I never ever did. Here was more ideas about a business where I did like a nibbler figure, and I really hated the way I colored it, and like the texture from the glue made my line art really, really shaky. But I was inspired by the color of this tag to come up with new product ideas. This one I also didn't like the coloring on because I wanted to do like contrasting colors because there was like the red and the minty green, and I wanted to make like a mint superhero. I don't even know. I think it would have looked a little bit better had I chose a different color for her hair or something. I don't know. I don't really like it. I even left a note. I didn't like the colors together, but I kept moving on. My second big piece with watercolor, and I did watercolor paper and I stuck it in here because you could never do this straight on the paper. But it's supposed to be Nibbler, and it's supposed to be like this. He's upside down in space. And I liked doing the galaxy. I probably should have looked up how to do it better instead of just winging it. But I think the purpliness of it is nice because I didn't want it to be black with color because he's already so gray and there's so much gray stuff. Thought it would blend together too much, so the bright pinks were kind of cute. And at this time I was still mixing white into my watercolors instead of lightening them up, which adds kind of a cloudy effect that I really like for galaxies. And these were my experimenting and coming up with compositions and stuff, and I really struggled to decide whether or not I should put this in my sketchbook or just put it in my folders because I organize all my art in folders in 2-year increments. It's just how I've always done it. But I decided against it, and I was like, I'm gonna put it in here, and I actually am glad I did because you can see the process right next to the final piece. And then we've made it halfway. We have this little comic I did. It's not true. It was for a school project. We were supposed to talk about a time you learned something from a bad experience, and I lied. You can stop to read it if you want. And then here's my halfway page where I made new goals because I felt like I hit a lot of the goals I already had. And here is like a little reflection and some of my goals. My first thing here was a character sheet for my OCs, Juno Jr. and Juno. They are a father-son skateboarding duck duo, and I wanted to come up with more ideas about their character motivations and why they would want to crash the parade for Super Nibbler Volume 1. Here is some Jack Stauber related fan art, and here's some Opal stuff because that is just my favorite like piece of art ever. And I just loved how it looked, and so I wanted to like emulate some of the style, and I drew myself sort of in that style. Here's some Fall Guys Among Us stuff because I did a page in my smaller sketchbook, which is like my sketchbook 1.5 is what I call it, where it's a small like dollar store sketchbook that I did alongside this one, and I liked how it looked, so I did it again here. And then here I have a little OC, she's a little baker. I don't really like the colors I used. Maybe her pants should have been a different color to differentiate from her skin tone a little better. And then I made like a chocolatey version of Nibbler, so it's not Nibbler, but it basically is. My mom and people in my family finally called me out for the fact that I always draw Nibbler looking to the left and not to the right, because the way I always frame my panels in my comics is I have my protagonist on the right and my antagonist on the left, and this really taught me I need to like put more effort and thought into more interesting like composition and everything, and so I practiced drawing Nibbler to the right so that I could practice drawing him, because I feel like his body gets a little stubbier and like he looks a little different, but I think it was nice to really practice that. This one, my brother gave me a little doodle he did and a Matchbox sticker, and so I was inspired to kind of just like lean into masculinity in a way, like very stereotypical ideas of masculinity, which unironically is just violence and mustaches, but it was kind of nice to dabble into a new color palette and sort of experiment outside my comfort zone. this spread is one that a lot of people really liked because it's very interactive. But here we have this flashlight, and it's like supposed to be FNAF themed, and this is the FNAF 4 office. And so it's just a piece of plastic with black pen, but it ended up smudging, and so I had to draw over it again. And so it looks kind of bad now, but that's it for that. We have a little puppet that goes in and out. Chica, this one's kind of messy, but it's supposed to be a little Susie on the inside. And then here is a pop-up like 3D room, which I could honestly insert pictures because it'll look better, but it's like a 3D room of the FNAF 1 office that I did. This one was angels, inspired by some pins on Pinterest because I wanted to mess around with the colors, and I really like this like blue and this gold and this like kind of fleshy pink color. I still like added my own spin to the designs, obviously, and I wished I had a like metallic watercolor so that it could be like actually golden instead of just kind of like yellow. This was an idea for something I did for TOK year 2 where I was answering knowledge questions about what is good evidence for like a claim or something, and I did this one where it was direct like evidence, like you've seen it, so like if you're getting abducted by aliens, you know they're real. So I did random little things before the final piece. Little sea creatures. I wanted to draw a vampire squid and couldn't justify a whole spread to that, and so I did a magna pinna and a giant isopod and just like little things. He looks a little weird, but I'm still proud of the other stuff enough to not dwell on it too much. Here's some little food I did with watercolor, and honestly this is where the watercolor goes into full swing. I started doing it straight on to the paper because it wasn't bleeding through. It's not great and it makes it warp a little, but I like the texture. Here's my first stuff with gouache. My friend lent me some gouache, so I drew these little buildings, and I really struggled to mix colors because I'd done acrylic before and I was just getting into watercolor, but mixing colors is tough, and so I made like a mermaid nibbler. And then instead of washing my brush, I was wiping it onto this pass that I got for my like IB/IO for English, and like here's a little reflection about my first time using gouache. Some highlighter doodles, more Halloween bears, but this time I did it with color. I did watercolors, and I like some of these designs, and he was a failed attempt at recreating this one, so I do need to try that one again because for whatever reason drawing him again he just looked so weird. I guess I got his proportions wrong, and I ended up finalizing my spider bear. And then here is some watercolor and gouache stuff to do landscaping. And then in here is a really ugly idea for a gouache that I started. And on the back I did like a really big reflection about how it was making me upset, but then also like realizing it wasn't just my artistic ability that was the problem. And then here, this is an illustration that I wanted to turn into a final piece and I just haven't gotten around to it. For a dream that I had. I'm covering a little, actually I'll just warn you, it's like slight nudity, like a little under boob there, where it's supposed to be me, which is a little weird considering the nudity. I didn't mean for it to be this nude. I thought the flowers were bigger, and then I went over with watercolor and I lost most of them, so you see a little bit more than I was expecting. And it's a little worm, and so I turned like my brown skin into wood, and like I had orange hair, which I felt like gave the vibe of like autumn, these bright blue flowers, but I just had a dream where I turned into nature and I wanted to try it. We did a medieval fair for school, and it was Shrek themed, and it was really cold and wet, and so that's me shivering, and little snacks my brother gave me. A collage I did for film with my baby girl Taika Waititi. The only reason I glued it in there. Nibbler's 8th birthday. I drew him and his son and me. I did this one at my grandparents' house, and this was just to test the limits of this paper, see how far it would go. And turns out it doesn't go too far. It's very, very streaky. I drew a little birthday card for him, and like I know he can't read, but it was cute. Here my friend told me to draw Pillow Pet, and so I found a reference and drew it. And just little doodles and packaging. Plans for an assignment, which I'll insert here, that I did for illustrating the division between North and South Korea for history. Here's a little like gingerbread house themed page. Ideas for the same project I did with the alien abductions. This one was to be like empirical research, like proves it. And so I did this lab with like neon-y fluorescent watercolors, which like I wish I'd bought some because it's like apparently very impossible to mix fluorescent colors, because I tried to figure it out and then I tried on my own and it just was not working. But I wanted it to be like grayscale with graphite and then add the neon colors on top of it. This was one inspired by an art exhibit that I saw at my local library, and so I just used some of the colors, and it had like some of the information for the artists, which I thought was really cute, and I looked around that exhibit. Storyboarding for an animation. I don't think this QR code works anymore, but it was a link to all of my animations that I had made up until this point, but I think that the free trial for that actually ended. I remember struggling to get that one to print at the library. Fan art for the story When the Wind Blows. They made a movie adaptation of this book, but I liked the storybook style and the light blushiness to the cheeks. Then I tried to like replicate the cover and a scene. This was more gouache ducks. I wanted to do different patterned ducks in my style, and they look a little goofy and experimental, but this spread I still really like because I was drawing fan art, and you can really see here where my style is starting to change because I started to give my characters pupils, and in my second sketchbook I started experimenting with different eye shapes and different features to try to make my characters look different from each other. And so this is Daisy, and then Peach, and then Miku, and like Nintendo themed. And then this one was kind of fruit themed, and so it's like a fruit car and fruit bowls. Super Monkey Ball, I don't want to talk about that. Little Penny as an orange, also don't want to talk about that. Decided to do something I've never done, and that's like study fundamentals, and so I did a color wheel with watercolor, did some rendering of these like very simple like colorful balls and stuff, and then some landscape stuff. I replicated these color palettes from Pinterest, but I wanted to practice mixing colors and then also like identifying why the color schemes worked. And then this one was a piece that my brother did and didn't want, and so I stuck it in here, and it's like unironically the best thing in my sketchbook, and I really like it. And then here's some art fundamental stuff. Here are some like felt creature ideas. This one I did for home ec back in like 6th grade, but I really like the design of like a 3-eyed like bunny monster, and then redrawing some OCs from the past. More gouache. These are like pop art like inspired, and so I've got yellow, cyan, magenta, and sage green drawing a plant, and these were really inspired by a video from another creator on here where I'll add the @ to this video. They did a similar thing, and I wanted to practice doing it with gouache, but they did it with like underpainting, so it was a little bit different, but I liked the idea of it. This one's a green themes page. This is also another one that my brother did with colored pencils in their Prismacolors, and I just did green themed and like some stickers, a little bit of red. This one is a wash of a bunch of blue watercolor with blue Prismacolor on top to sketch, and I drew my cat and like some weird stuff, all blue because I like blue. This one was also watercolor, but I wanted to experiment with different textures and how different things reacted to it, but I never actually finished it. So there's that. Here's a print that my friend and I made. So she did the illustration, and it's like Sally face inspired, but I helped her do the screen printing for her art class, and so we made one, and she gave me one of the copies. And then this was me practicing doing different skin tones, and unironically made one of the most offensive things to ever like see light of day. But it was a learning experience, and I still need to experiment more with like darker skin tones, because sometimes I forget that like there is such a range and that it's important to represent all people. this one, I have a little reflection and a bunch of vent art over here that is like unironically super triggering, so I won't show it. But here I got this sticker that I bought for my friend because she like prints stickers and it's Silent Hill. And so I decided to draw some like kind of like gross stuff, and this one was on reference, and this one, and this one, they were all on reference. And I was just really trying to learn how to lean into references and trying to draw more realism. And you can already see the shift because this is all watercolor. Like usually I render stuff out with pencil, but these are just watercolor. And I remember I was doing them in math and like my stomach hurt a little bit because it was kind of grossing me out to look at like real human hearts and stuff. When I drew this finger from imagination and this little eyeball and like a fleshy flower. Here's some more fan art. This one my friend drew. Here I have Pokemon cards I got from a Happy Meal, and I drew Pokemon in my style. These were like inspired by Casey Golden's like Pokemon illustrations, so some of them look way more my style, and then some of them I incorporated elements of her style into them. And honestly, I really like her art and like the texture she adds to art, and like one of my biggest inspirations. So I thought it'd be fun to play around with certain elements of her art. Here I drew myself in like a mushroom inspired kingdom like world, and I drew my bunny Peepo, and you can see like the little Mario inspired stuff, and I just made myself a little princess. I think this is the last thing I did with gouache before I gave it back to my friend, and it's just like I put down washes of color and then handed them back, and then did stuff with pen and like messed around with shapes. This one is oil pastels with acrylic paint mixed with soap. So if you put the acrylic paint and soap on top and scrape it, you can like scratch into it, but I think I got my ratio wrong because when I went to like cover it with Mod Podge to seal it, it just smeared so bad. And I feel like my colors are kind of ugly because it's like very complimentary and everything, but it's very smooth now that I've sealed it with Mod Podge, and it was fun to experiment and fun to do. It just looks really ugly. These cats, I did these ones, and this was when I started posting on Threads, and I remember that was like the first thing to blow up kind of on there, and like I know most people aren't on Threads, but it was kind of nice to feel like my art was being seen for a little. I just drew cats because I used to draw cats a lot. Like all my comics were cats and bunnies, and I just haven't been drawing cats very often. These were Pokemon requested on Threads. So a lot of these aren't Gen 1. I'm only really familiar with Gen 1 Pokemon, but I really liked this one and this one. And like honestly, a lot of the ones on this page I liked. I really didn't like this one, but I think there's enough good ones so that I can just shut up and stop complaining. Here's something I glued in from Ideas for Super Nibbler Volume 1. I don't know if you can necessarily read them, but you can pause if you really want to, because I'm not going to go over all of them, but it's just the first scene. These ones I thought were ugly, but there's the final part, and then because I thought those certain panels were ugly, I like went back and did certain stuff on the backs. My friend doodled on this page, and I colored in her art because she draws really, really good, and I really like it. I like the detail. I just don't have the patience to sit and do that. Here's a little poem. I don't really remember how to read it, but I did it for a school project, and I colored it and put it in the shape of Nibbler. I was really like in the mood to color after coloring my friend's art, that I drew some mermaids to color, and I do really like the color of this one, and I might turn her into like an official OC. The other ones are kind of forgettable, but I like her like complimentary look. Sakura Cherry Blossom inspired dragons. They're a little weird looking, but it's fun. And here's a pass I got for a talent show at my school. My friend brought like Copics and like her sketchbook and let one of my friends doodle in it. And so that's why I have that Pinkie Pie, and then she let me doodle, and so I did it here, and my friend's looks way better, but it's okay. And then the rest is Crayola markers that my grandparents bought me, and so I drew some Pokemon again, more kind of like in a Casey Golden style, where I've got like the fun line art, because I really just wanted to experiment, and honestly I want to incorporate that more into my work. And they're just like Crayola doodles. Here I go back to the fundamentals, and you can already see the improvement in like my still lives compared to that other page I did like way in the beginning. Oh my gosh, I just realized I skipped a page. Oh, but like I was saying, you can see the difference between these still lives and these ones. These ones just look way more like my references and they have more detail. Like you can see me learning how to properly use references because I hadn't ever used them until the sketchbook. But this was a Drawing with Jazz video about fabric because I wanted to learn more about fabric, and I think I learned a bit from it. And then here's some more finished-ish, like they're quick little referenced still lives, and then some stuff I just did not feel like finishing. And then here's some more, that was something from school, but here's some more reference stuff, and you can just see how much better I got. Like they're still not perfect, they're done with watercolors and rendered out with Prismacolors. Here's some stuff from UIL. I did a vlog about that I can link in the corner, but it was just all the studying I did before that vlog. Here's some more pear stuff. I was in a pear mood. Here's some new animals that I tried to draw, some little doodles, and then something I did at school with like an alpha male like crab and a beta male crab. Some sketches my friend put in my notebook I decided to cut out and glue here. And then some under the sea stuff. Some doodles that my little cousin did in my sketchbook, and I doodled on these passes next to him because we wanted to talk about art styles and stuff, and it was really wholesome. Here is some Animal Crossing stuff and some business cards that my friends gave me because they went to some sort of event. Here's some designs that I did for my cap and gown. Some of these I did at the time, and then these ones I did like a couple days ago because I didn't remember the like circle thing, and I was trying to deal with getting the composition to work around it, and the rules and a sticker a teacher gave me. Here's a little comic, you can pause if you want to read it, of an OC I made with my friend called Nibloing, who's like a space alter ego of Nibbler, who I think I'm gonna include in either just short comics like this one, or I'll add him to Super Nibbler when he gets abducted by aliens, and he's like part of the reason he gets saved, even though he kind of doesn't trust him at first. Here were ideas for another coloring book, because I released a coloring book, which I can also link in the corner, the playlist about that. And I want to do like a travel coloring book for like kids that don't have anyone to talk to on road trips, and then other random stuff like drawing stuff from memory. And then this one was a reference. I was just trying to mess around with the color, so I was referencing stuff, but I wasn't directly representing the art. This was inspired by a film I did for IB this year. It was like a liminal space sort of escape room stuff, and this was part of a puzzle that the character had to fold up to find the keys to, and then some of the planning behind that is in here, and planning for some of the shots. Here was a thing for a day that I had with a friend, where we went to an arcade and had boba. This was for prom. I drew me and my friends. I brought a Coke in there, you're not supposed to. Me and my dress and a can top. And then here is a ticket. Usually you're not supposed to be able to take these, but I just had a friend who asked for a couple for scrapbooking, because you know, you never want to be the person that says you're doing sketchbook stuff. And so she got us a couple ideas for like OCs, because I got this paper a day that I forgot my sketchbook. My friend gave me 2 pieces of hers, and so I doodled, and it was this week that I watched Bee and Puppy Cat for the first time, so I drew Puppy Cat and a flower a friend gave me that I pressed in here. I brought Nibbler to school once for a project thing for economics, and I can insert some photos actually of when he was actually here, and so I drew some of the scenes from when he was there, and then I drew him as OCs. This one was me trying to draw different things without a reference. So I drew like this fruit and this one without a reference, and then I stopped in between these ones to use a reference, because I just wanted to see how much I would learn and how much personality I could add to still lives on my own. And I drew Nibbler as a little fruit, and I did a little reflection because I think that helps. One of my friends drew Nibbler in their style, which is a little creepy, and Nibbler fish in their own style. This was an experimental page I did where I wanted to mess around with more realistic-ish proportions, and I liked this one, and then I scaled it up and it was awful. I didn't really like it, but I tried to create some pros and also some cons to reflect on it. I was rewatching My Little Pony at this time, so I drew Pinkie Pie in my style, and then Digital Circus episode 2 came out that same day, and so I watched it, drew the Candy Princess, and reflected on my thoughts of the episode. And then here's a creepy Nibbler, because I was inspired by my friend's drawing of him being creepy, so I doodled this one on a notebook, and then I came back and did this one where he's kind of like cataracty, and like kind of really gross, but it's okay, he's my Pookie. And then here's Gravity Falls. This one's watercolor and Prismacolors to render, which is honestly the theme of this entire thing, where I just do either watercolor or Copics, and then I render it with pencils. And then here's Mabel. Her legs are a little funny, but if we look here, she looks so fine. And it's a little blank, but I think it's still kind of cute. Here are some emotions I practiced, just because I felt like I was getting too stuck in that whole trying to finish as much as I could thing. And then some IB stuff, so I have a water bottle, and honestly I was so proud of the top. He's a little short, but that does look like the water bottle. Like, actually, I have it here. Like, other than that, like, it looks the same. It's kind of nice, because that was the first time I looked at something in real life and drew it, instead of just referencing an image. Here are some predicted scores. I forgot about my film course, because I was like, oh my god, I'm cutting it so close to not getting my diploma, but I forgot about that. And cross my fingers that I get my IB diploma so that I can go abroad for university. I did a little reflection about that, and then I drew myself during my first IB exam, which was math paper 1, where I couldn't get NSolve to work, and it's because you're supposed to do finance settings for finance questions. And then here was a paper from when I was talking to my teacher about my bio IA, which was for months and months ago, but I ended up going with studying how fixing a rabbit affected their rates of cancer and whether or not it was better or not for certain ages and genders of rabbits for you to get them fixed, or like the consequences of reproductive issues with that. Here's like a little zine basically that I did for the ABCs of IB for my English final, and then I have some like candidate papers in here as well. Here I did some art with those Dum Dum wrappers that my little cousin gave me, and I made a little dress, and I drew Pinky Cooper and Meowth, and I just drew whatever came to my mind because I was feeling a little bit of art block, and then some grayscale characters. Most of these are from memory, except for Candy Princess. Yeah, other than that, I drew them from memory, and then I created some characters like him, who's like got a little orange for a head. Here I just glued in something from a notebook that I did at the beginning of the year. And then we had these people come in to teach us about mental health, so I had this to stick in here, and then a little thing that I got from a teacher, because he was saying he was going to give compliments to people who won the Bookit, and they're very like bad compliments, but they're still cute. Drawing like all of my OCs, which really showed me I don't have any human OCs, and some little flowers my friends gave me. And they were going to be playing cards. I made a finished one back months and months before this at UIL, which I can insert here. But I never ended up finishing those. Here I have like geometric versions of my characters because my art style is very circular, so I decided to mess around with that and add angles. These are Copics rendered out with colored pencils. I actually drew this reference before, but I wanted to focus more on the red lighting, which I don't know if you can actually see. Maybe I'll insert a photo so you can see it better. But that one's with reference, that's without, way more cartoony. And then this is actually the last spread. I did like a family photo inspired thing, and I was doing this one during the last day of school, and like I put more effort into like this one, you can see more detail, and like these ones look that one looks really bad, but my pencils were really dull and I didn't have a sharpener, so they look really bad. But I think this one's still really cute. and just the mix match of frames and the little light switch. And then I printed out some digital art that I did. I did this one on an iPad the day before the last day of school. And I created some sticker designs, which I'll insert here. Then I did a little about me next to this piece that's a self-portrait. And then this is Nibbler. First time I did digital art on an iPad. I did that one with my finger, this one with Apple Pencil, and this one on my phone. And it's the cover to my coloring book that I released last year. And then this one I also did with my finger on a school iPad. And then this final spread was old art from a sketchbook that I never finished to really show how far I came, and random doodles in my notebooks that I found while going through my schoolwork stuff. And then here I had my friends do little doodles. I don't know what that is. Some of them try to draw me in various different ways. Since I didn't have a yearbook, I just had everyone sign here as well. The back cover fell off too, so the sleeve really holds it together. But yeah, thank you for watching. I bet this video was like an hour long, but there is like 200 pages in here. My first ever sketchbook I've ever completed. And I'm just so proud that I got it done, and I wouldn't have been able to do it without my friends' support and inspiration to keep going. You can really see that's how big it was before, like minus the curve, and you really see how curved the last pages were. And look how big it is now. You can really see all the memories I made in my second year of IB, and I'm really proud that I got it done. And I should be starting another sketchbook soon. I'm not sure how much I'll be posting in the near future just because I'm gonna be moving. Like, I'm gonna be posting something like a packing vlog, but I'm not sure what I'll be doing after that. But thank you so much for watching this really long video. I'll see you in the next video. Bye!